The Super Smash Bros. Series is one of my favorite game series of all time. Addicting gameplay, nostalgic characters, beloved childhood memories, this franchise has it all for me. Because of that, these are just about the only games that I actively participate and enjoy speculating about pre-release. I was almost sad to see the game come out, as it meant that time would be over. But
Mewtwo has joined the battle as a new fighter!
DLC confirmed! Speculation is reborn, disconfirmed characters get a second chance, and our wallets tremble in fear. In this list, I'm going to be ranking the 10 characters that I really want to see make their playable debut as Smash Bros. DLC. Two things to note before I start. I'm not going to put any veterans on this list. I think all veterans have a good chance of returning, and having half a list consist of veteran characters would be incredibly boring, as obvious choices are obvious. Keep in mind that this list is what I want in the game, not what I think will get into the game. And since it's based on my personal desires, it is not going to match your list. If you disagree, feel free to leave your picks for Smash DLC in the comments below. Or just rage at how stupid I am for my choices, that's perfectly fine too. Remember 13 years ago, when you saw this? I was around 6 years old when I saw that, and I was so excited. Oh my gosh, who is this guy? He looks awesome! I can't wait to destroy my enemies with that massive sword! I can't emphasize how awesome this sword looks. This guy must be so fun to play as. I can't wait to see how he uses that sword! In his victory pose? What? The funniest thing about this for me was that I had no idea Ganondorf was a Zelda character. The first Zelda game I ever played was Wind Waker. I was just confused and disappointed as to why he had an awesome sword he didn't use. It wasn't until I actually played Wind Waker and realized that this wasn't an F-Zero character in a Zelda game, just how utterly ridiculous Falcondorf is. But that's okay, they'll just fix it in the next game. Right? Right? He'll definitely use it on the field of battle next time. That's not what I meant. Next game? Please? Nope. Well, based on the progression between games, we'll probably get Ganondorf's sword as a playable character before Ganondorf himself learns how to properly use it. But hope is not lost for the King of Darkness. After all, we already have 2 Links and 2 Zeldas in the roster. Why not round that off with 2 Ganondorfs? I think Ganon should have been in the game before Ganondorf. He's got every reason to be in that Ganondorf does, and more. He's the same being, but he's been in more games, been in the franchise longer, he's much more powerful, and he has more potential for a unique moveset than Ganondorf ever did. His swords, trident, and horns work perfectly for his standard attacks, plenty of spells that he can use for special attacks, and he could throw his trident and teleport to it as his recovery. He'd be both a unique Zelda newcomer, which we haven't gotten since Melee, and a heavyweight newcomer, which we have yet to receive from Smash 4. And most importantly, he's a pig. Last time I checked, we didn't have any pigs on the roster, and I feel like this blatant racism should be remedied as soon as possible. Easily the most shocking thing I found about Smash 4's roster was that there was no DK newcomer. Seriously, what happened there? It's a hugely successful franchise, just got a major reboot with 2 very well received games, has plenty of potential characters, so why on earth would we not get at least a Dixie Kong semi-clone? This is a mistake that I feel should be remedied as soon as possible. And while I personally think that Dixie Kong has the best chance, this is a wanted list, and I want King K. Rool. I will confess, I've never actually played a game with K. Rool in it. Whoa, calm down. If anything, that just proves how much this guy deserves to get into the game. K. Rool beats Ganon for me due to the sheer variety of what he could do. He's incredibly heavy and large, but almost none of his attacks in the games are physical. K. Rool uses traps and projectiles, and he's extremely fast for a character his size. Imagine an incredibly fast, heavy character that was projectile-based, with high-risk, high-reward attacks. He could be so fun to play as. But his best, and tragically most ignored credential, is his villain status. As far as Nintendo villains go, he is easily, hands down, the most deserving to get into the game. And that's coming from one of the biggest Ridley fans on the internet. He's the main antagonist of Nintendo's 4th biggest franchise, but despite this, he's not only ignored by Smash Bros, but by modern DK games as well. Why? His Smash trophy even acknowledges his importance. Why has he been constantly ignored by the Smash team? I bet I know why. Is it because they think he's too big? Uh-oh. During Smash speculation, there were two characters that I heavily supported even though I didn't know a damn thing about them. One of them was Shulk, whose game I didn't play until he was leaked to be in Smash 4. Until that point, I just wanted him because he had a cool looking sword. The other was an assist trophy in Brawl, whose game I only very recently started playing, Isaac. As I said at the beginning of this video, this is a list based off of what I want in the game, not what I think will get into the game. But if this list was based off of chances, Isaac would be number 1. Hands down, no questions asked. If we get more DLC after Mewtwo, and I'm almost certain we will, Isaac's a near shoo-in. Why? Simple. He's been erased from Smash. Assist trophy is gone, no trophy, nothing. And I have to ask, why? Seriously, if someone can give me a good explanation for this, I'd love to hear it. But I can't come up with one other than they are holding him back, or Matthew I suppose, for DLC later. Which I'm pretty happy about. He's a great character with limitless potential in Smash. Seriously, you could throw all synergy powers and summons into a hat, draw them at random, assign them to different moves, and you're pretty much guaranteed an awesome character. The reason he's so low is because even if I am wrong, he's all but confirmed for Project M, so I get to play him no matter what happens. Remember back in 2012 when the Wii U was released? Remember that amazing game lineup that the Wii U had at launch? What's that? You don't? Because it didn't have any. We had another new Super Mario Bros. And Nintendo Land. Everything else was either already released on another console or just bad. Most people who bought a Wii U at launch bought it with the promise of better games in the near future. Games like Pikmin 3, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, Rayman Perfection, and the most underrated game ever. I know it wasn't perfect, controls took a long time for me to get a hang of, but this game is chaotic, hilarious, fun, utterly confusing, and I love it. And even though it was tragically an economic failure, its creator is open to making another installment, giving Wonder Red the perfect opportunity to make his playable debut in Smash. The most represented non-playable franchise in Smash by far, Wonder Red is perfectly poised to become DLC. I could go into Wonder Red's character and potential moveset, but there's really only one reason I want him in Smash DLC. To get his series more attention. I want another game in this series so badly, if he was added as DLC, it would mean another installment was coming. Hell, it might even draw attention and sales to the first game as well. Anything to get this wonderful series the praise it deserves. When it comes to third-party characters in Smash Bros., the bar is set pretty high for who can get in. We have had 4 classic, iconic video game characters whose games have helped define their respective genres in one way or another. However, I can't help but feel that there's one incredibly iconic, genre-defining series that deserves representation. Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy was born on Nintendo platforms, and while it isn't on Nintendo consoles anymore, Square Enix does still publish games for Nintendo. They're in a better standing than the Metal Gear franchise is, and if Solid Snake can get into the game, I see no reason why the Black Mage can't as well. Sure, you could go with somebody like Slime, Terra, Cloud, or even Sora, but if we're talking classic characters in the same vein as the other third-party characters, the Black Mage is the only way to go. Easily the most iconic of the original starting characters, Black Mage's iconism, moveset, and design would fit in perfectly with the other third-party cast. Square Enix is still on good terms with Nintendo, but still making good games with their consoles, which is more than any of the other third-party characters can claim. And Black Mage has appeared in a Nintendo game before. It would be stupidly difficult to get the rights to him, but I feel like the end result would be well worth it. I know some people really hate this character, but I for one have always loved Toad. And I've always wanted him to be in Smash Bros. He's been in the Mario franchise for just as long as Peach and Bowser, been a constant presence throughout the series. He's even been playable a couple of times. But despite all this, he's been completely sidelined when it comes to Smash Bros. Stuck as Peach's meat shield while Rosalie and Bowser Jr. got in before him. And unfortunately, it looks like he will stay that way. Sad, but I understand why. For all the things that Toad has done in the Mario series, he really hasn't done anything to make himself stand out, to feel unique. Until now. I am being 100% serious when I say this. Captain Toad was my game of the year for 2014. I enjoyed it that much. It wasn't particularly long or difficult, but it was so charming and fun that I didn't care. This is the first game in a long time that has left me feeling legitimately happy. So obviously, I want them to make more of these games. Not only that, Toad would fit in perfectly with the rest of the cast. He's got the potential to be one of those quirky, bizarre characters that Sakurai seems to love adding. His backpack is apparently so heavy that he can't even jump. Imagine if we had a character that was as small as Toad but as heavy as Bowser. Add in some power-ups, a minecart, a Toad and alt costume, and a bright future for a series, and you've got the perfect candidate for Smash DLC. But by far, the biggest reason I want Captain Toad is this. If we get Captain Toad as DLC character, we'll probably get a Captain Toad amiibo. I really want a Captain Toad amiibo. I wasted a good chunk of time writing this segment before I realized I was just rehashing everything I said about the previous entry. Iconic part of the series, constant presence, even playable, stuck inside role, now important, blah blah blah. Bandana Dee. Like Captain Toad, Bandana Dee has consistently been growing into his own character over the past few years. He's gone from a pathetically weak opponent in Superstar to a playable character in Return to Dreamland and Rainbow Curse. He's even got a hat designed after him in Street Pass. I imagine that Bandana Dee would be the ultimate glass cannon in Smash Bros. He uses a spear, which is a weapon designed so you can eliminate your opponent before they have the chance to reach you. Therefore his playstyle would probably reflect that. High damage output, weak defense. Imagine a character that combines Kirby's size and speed, DDD's reach, Pichu's weight, and Marth's tipper mechanic, and you've got my vision of Bandana Dee. Like Captain Toad, this is another character that I'm dying to get an amiibo of. Literally the only reason Bandana Dee is above Captain Toad is because I want Dee's amiibo just a little bit more. Because like Captain Toad, Bandana Dee is pretty adorable. But unlike Captain Toad, he's pretty badass as well. You know what? I don't think I'll have enough dislikes on this video. Let me quickly fix that. Yeah, Ridley. I already made 2 entire videos about Ridley. I think it was quite obvious that he was going to be on this list. I'm not going to waste any time with chances, reasons, and such. You can go watch my other 2 videos for that. However, I'll go into what I want to see from him in Smash. I want Sakurai to make Ridley Smash's first giant character. He hits very hard, tons of super armor, rarely flinching, but is such a huge and heavy target that he's really easy to combo. Heck, just use the Pyrosphere Ridley and convert it into a playable character. Too big, you say? Why? If it's because of clipping through platforms, so what? When has that ever been a rule? I guess I've only imagined the Super Mushroom being in Smash Bros. For all these years. Or is it because of the hitboxes? In which case, just place his wings on the Z-axis and make his tail invincible. Problem solved. He's got next to no chance, as Sakurai believes that one of the smallest bosses in Metroid needs to be big and imposing. That's more important to his character. Because logic. I bet you're surprised Ridley isn't number 1. Well, while Ridley is one of my favorite video game characters, I didn't start really liking him to the extent I do now until I got into speculation about Smash Bros. And saw how terribly the Ridley fanbase was treated. These next 2 characters, I fervently wanted playable in Smash for years. I adore the Pokemon series. I grew up watching the anime. Mewtwo Strikes Back was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I had all 151 Pokemon memorized by heart. I was a fanatic. And then Generation 2 happened. Being the naive child that I was, I saw these new Pokemon as blasphemous, tarnishing the purity that was Generation 1. Yes, I was a Gen 1er. I am so sorry for my trespasses. I kept this line of thinking for years, until one day I happened upon a copy of Pokemon Emerald, and with nothing else to do, I decided to play it. And oh, how blind I had been! Emerald became my favorite Pokemon game, and my first ever starter became my favorite Pokemon. What's that? We have enough Pokemon in the game as it is? Says who? You? You ain't making the game. Pokemon are such an enormous and iconic franchise that they can get away with having another fighter in the game. Maybe even 2 if Pichu returns. And if we do get a newcomer, I'd bet money on Sceptile. It represents the recent Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and, well, Generation 3 itself, just got an awesome Mega Evolution, and most importantly, is a grass starter. It bugged me a lot more than it should have that we got a fire and water starter in this game, but not a grass one. And no, it's not because of the grass, fire, water, rock, paper, scissors thing. That doesn't matter. What matters is this. When a new Pokemon game is announced, what do they show off first? The starter Pokemon. The starter trio of fire, water, and grass is one of the most important and iconic parts of the Pokemon franchise. It represents the first Pokemon a person will ever own, and one of the hardest decisions you'll ever have to make in your life. It's such an iconic concept that I'm really sad they ignored it in Smash, and one that I hope Sceptile DLC will fix. It's certainly more important to the Pokemon franchise than keeping Jigglypuff around all this time. For each character that's been revealed, I've recorded my reaction, in the hope that a character that I wanted would be announced, and I'd have a funny video as a result. Sadly, I've never been able to do this, simply because I wasn't really excited for most of the newcomers we got. And those that I wasn't able to record, or I already knew about them before I saw the trailers. But if one of these characters gets announced as Smash DLC, I'll probably upload a video of me gleefully cheering at how cool they are. If Ridley or Sceptile gets announced, I will probably upload a video of me losing my mind, praising Sakurai and the wonders he has created. But if this character gets announced, I'll probably be too ashamed to upload the video, because I'll probably burst into tears of nostalgic joy. Ever since I played Smash 64, 15 years ago, I've wanted Rayman to be playable. This guy is childhood nostalgia incarnate for me. I couldn't care less about what his moveset is, if he was high tier or low tier, or even if he was fun to play as. I just want my favorite character in one of my favorite games. I got so close to getting him in this time, only to find out that he was a trophy. Why would you get the rights to him, the mascot of one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, and not make him a character? Then the series got 2 more nope, I'm not even mad. Nope, not mad at all. Nope, not at all. There is no way Ubisoft wanted their mascot character in as only a trophy. I'd be willing to bet money that Ubisoft did what Hideo Kojima did with Snake and Melee. They went to Sakurai to ask if their character could be playable, but development was too far along to include him. However, this isn't Melee, this is Smash 4. DLC is possible, so hopefully Rayman will get his chance in the spotlight. Actually, I'm going to make a bit of a bold prediction here. This year is Rayman's 20th anniversary. Unless Ubisoft pulls a Metroid anniversary on this, they'll probably announce a new Rayman game, or remake, to coincide with it. And maybe, hopefully, please, Rayman will be announced as Smash DLC. Thank you all so much for watching this video. This was originally going to be my first video, but complications arose and, well, it came 3 months late. But better late than never. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more of my stuff, please do me a big favor and like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. It really helps. If you didn't like it, that's perfectly okay. Please hit the dislike button, leave a hateful remark, and subscribe to hate on all my future content as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!